Hey everybody, it's Katie. Today's video is for those of you with children who are going to be flying or traveling for a distance sometime soon. We're going to talk today about our recent trip that we took, our family vacation, which included several flights and a long drive, and want to talk to you about what we found that worked out really well and how we prepared for it. I have been flying with my daughters for both of them pretty much since they were born. When I took my oldest on her first flight when she was about 9 months old, and I'm pretty sure I looked like that crazy person with all of the bags and all of the things, but I mean, when you have a little kid, you need to have a lot of stuff. Now with the addition of our youngest, who is actually almost 3 years old, we have traveled with her several times as well, and we usually go to visit my family, my dad's side of the family, at least once a year, and so I've been taking the girls on these trips pretty much since they were born. So I'm definitely not a pro, because I'll tell you here in just 1 minute about my major flub with this trip. It's definitely not a pro, but we have experimented with what works and what doesn't, and we found a couple really great toys that I wanted to share with you, and just kind of how we prepared and how we got ready. So I mentioned a flub, and I think I'll start with it because the most important thing that I'm going to tell you about when you're traveling, especially on the airplane, because your suitcase is below, and I mean, you have a carry-on usually, but the most important thing is to have a change of clothes for anyone who's not potty trained, still in diapers, or who's just newly potty trained. My flub was, and this is the first time I've done this, with all of the flights that I've done with my girls, this was the first time that I didn't take a change of clothing for my youngest. And I mean, she's almost 3, like I'm thinking, you know, no big deal. She doesn't like blow out her diapers a whole lot, and I'm kind of on top of it. No. So when we're flying, I let them have apple juice, which is kind of a treat. Just because my oldest is very sensitive to sugar, and so anyway, we don't have a whole lot of juice, but they get juice when they fly. And so of course my youngest was like, juice, 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 you know, so I had her little sippy cup, which, pro tip, take a sippy cup, because those little airline cups, over they go, and then you're sticky. So I took her little sippy cup, and I had given her juice, and it's easy for me to get distracted with everything that's going on and not remember how much fluid she has taken in. So we did our first flight, all went well, and we were at the airport in Seattle getting ready to just kind of sit for a bit and wait for our next flight. And I picked up my youngest and I put her on my lap, and then she got down and there was just this wet swath on my leg, and I was like, what? Oh no. Her diaper was like to the brim. It was so full. I mean, she'd been drinking all this juice and I wasn't thinking about it, and I hadn't changed her since like mid-flight. So, lesson learned, lesson relearned. Always have a change of clothing for especially for your baby, but also might not be a bad plan to have a change of clothing for yourself. So what did I do? I just let it air dry. I mean, what are you gonna do? At least it wasn't poop. It was just pee. The things you say as a mom. It was just pee on me. Okay, so tip number 2 is going to be take snacks. Like, take so many snacks. I was talking to one of the stewardesses on the flight, on one of the flights this time, and she stopped because, you know, they sell the little snack packs usually, and they're great, they're fun, they're cute, there's just little mini packages, and they're a lot of fun. And sometimes we buy those too, just because it's fun and it's new and it's not something mom made for me. But she told me something interesting as she pulled her little cart. You know, she's like, oh, you guys are good, because she sees that I have all these snacks for my kids. And she's like, it's actually smart. She goes, you know, one time I had a family come on and they had like 4 kids, and she goes, they weren't really little, but they weren't teenagers yet. And she goes, and the kids were hungry, and so they were like, oh, we want 4 of this different kind of snacks, and we were out. We had sold out because they were towards the back of the plane, and we had other options, but the kids didn't want it. And she's like, and they were kind of upset with me, and I felt horrible, but I was also kind of like, you should bring food for your kids. Like, take food for your kids. She said every successful family with a child with little kids, they always have snacks. And it's true. Like, we'll go and we'll buy fun snacks. Sometimes we'll do things that we don't often do, like, you know, maybe we'll buy the pre-packaged little snacks or something, or I try to make it fun and interesting, but really they just are excited to have snacks. So we'll do things like easy stuff that I can cut up. Sometimes I'll cut up fruit, and I have these little Tupperwares that I found that are amazing. Honestly, you can go to the store and find just about anything. You can even do lunch boxes. A lot of times they come with compartments, like little bento boxes. These are the ones that I have, and they have 2 compartments, a small and a large. Perfect if you wanted to do like hummus and vegetables or, you know, whatever. The more compartments, actually, I think the better. I just have these, and so those are the ones that I use. But I think that there's something fun about having little compartments with little individual things. It's busy, right? It keeps kids busy, and it's out of the norm for what they have. At least so for my kids, that's like, they feel special, and then they have their little cup of juice and, you know, that type of thing. So snacks, and you know, you don't have to worry as much about what they're gonna drink because they have water and juice and stuff like that on the plane, unless there's something specific they have to have. Then you can try to get through TSA with that. Good luck. But snacks, like I said, snacks, and we always try to pack enough so they can have a snack on the first flight and then a snack on the second flight, because even if we stop at an airport somewhere and get lunch, literally for some reason they're starving to death and they need something, and it's probably because, I don't know, we're on an airplane and it's fun and they're excited. The next thing I want to tell you about is get plenty of stuff to keep your kids busy. This can look like the dollar store, or if you want to spend a little bit more money on it and keep the stuff, you know, you can go on Amazon. They have tons of stuff. I also found just like this thing right here. It's a Melissa and Doug Water Wow. It was $4 at TJ Maxx, and it's perfect. This was probably actually one of the bigger hits that we had when we were traveling this time. It has a little pin. You unscrew the bottom, fill it with water, and then you go and you kind of just swipe on this and it shows a color. And then when it dries white, so you can reuse it. So actually both kids thought that was pretty cool. My 7-year-old was like, what's that? I want to try it, you know, and of course her sister was like, no way. She was super excited. They actually both had a turn with it. So it's just kind of fun stuff like that. Now I realize this takes a little bit of money and it also takes being strategic, but I can tell you that the stress level goes down when I can reach into my carry-on and pull out this new thing that they are going to be excited about. A couple other suggestions, and we'll show you, or we'll have links below, but a couple other suggestions are the removable window clings. So if you have a window seat and you know you're going to be in a window, you can let them put the little cling things up. Those are fun. Another thing that's fun are the Etch-a-Sketch type things, or the magnetic doodle boards. Those are kind of fun. The only thing I would say about that stuff is keep an eye on the parts, because sometimes it gets dropped, and like in between the side of the airplane and the seat is like an abyss, and stuff that falls in there somehow ends up in Tokyo. I don't actually know where it goes, but it goes somewhere. So keep that in mind as you're buying things to take on the plane, that if it gets lost, you don't want to be like, that was $30, you know, or whatever. So just kind of keep that in mind. Now, last but not least, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the good old-fashioned iPad, iPhone, iDevice to use for the kids as well. Now, I realize that there are some people who are super strict with screen time, and then some people who are maybe more lax with screen time. Wherever you fall in the spectrum of that, I think that on an airplane or on a long car ride, I think it's okay. At least for me, you know, if my kids spend the majority of a flight watching a movie, okay. I mean, it is what it is. It keeps them quiet, it keeps them happy. So we usually download some favorite shows, or we buy a new movie. Like my 7-year-old got a new Barbie movie. Yay! And then we got we downloaded a show for my 3-year-old. She likes Little Einsteins and Bubble Guppies, and so we downloaded those, or maybe they'll get a new game from the App Store that I've spent some time looking at before. But having that to kind of keep them, that as well as the toys and the snacks, you're setting yourself up for quite a bit more peace than if you don't have any of that. One last thing that I need to mention about headphones and iDevices is to be polite, it's important to have headphones for your kids. Now I realize the younger kids, might not be so excited about having something on their head. My 3-year-old is still, almost 3, she's still she'll leave it on, but then she'll take it off, and she'll, so what we did is we ordered a pair of really cute little headphones and let her practice with them. So we would, when we were at home, when she was allowed to have screen time, we would put the headphones on and let her practice. So she kind of got used to having them on her head. And that helped a lot when we got onto the plane, because nobody wants to hear bubble guppies. I don't want to hear her bubble guppies on the plane, and neither does the person behind me. So prep with headphones and get them kind of prepared and used to wearing them. So we have a Facebook page. If you haven't checked us out there, this is your formal invitation to come on by and check us out. We usually have daily content and articles that we think are funny, awesome, inspiring. So we'd love for you to come and check us out in that area. And if you are not a subscriber, we'd like to invite you to be a subscriber. You can join along the KT Files and on our journey here with all 2 of our amazing kiddos. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're flying soon, happy travels, safe travels. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please consider sharing it. That would be awesome. And if you have any ideas, leave them in the comments below. I'm going to be flying probably a lot more, so I'd love to know if you guys have any tips or suggestions that you'd like to share for successful travel. Hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you next time.